Let's see if we can get some of that with the NFL, guys. Donnie, I know you know the NFL as much as anybody. What caught your eye this week? What are you bringing from last week, looking to bet on this week's card?
Yeah, just catching up this morning, watching a little bit more film on some things that I liked. And again, it's week to week in the NFL. If anybody heard me a couple weeks ago, I was really down on Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans offense. Going back, watching the last two games. Now, preface it by saying New England on the road, that's a nice game. You put up some points, but we've all seen New England's defense got a lot of, chinks in the armor. Next week, you roll it over to the Tennessee Titans. Not the best defense in the world out there, but not a terrible one. What Bill O'Brien, who I don't like as a head football coach, is doing right now with Deshaun Watson is awesome. You got Will Fuller back as another wide receiver weapon opposite of DeAndre Hopkins, running back Lamar Miller, and they're using the read option principle techniques. If you watch the Kansas City Chiefs with a lot of what they do with Alex Smith, they're implicating that with Deshaun Watson here. Very impressed, put up over 50 points versus Tennessee. It's going to be a great football game this Sunday night, but what caught my eye, Deshaun Watson looks like he's a good football player right now.
Yeah, carrying over his skills from college football. Anything to add to that, Ian?
I totally agree. I mean, I'm impressed with the poise. I'm impressed with just the command he has in the huddle and the respect he's already clearly got of his teammates. Like, these guys already are buying into Deshaun Watson, like playing with him and for him. And why would you not? I mean, if you just watch anything regarding Deshaun Watson and his play with the Clemson Tigers, you become aware of, he's got leadership traits in addition to those skills and talents he has with his feet, being able to move in the pocket, being able to throw the ball downfield. I've been really impressed. Now, the counter argument is obviously you face New England and Tennessee's defenses the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to get into Tennessee in a second because I've got concerns about them, a team that I was very high on coming into the season. But you give Deshaun Watson credit for that, and you look at the Houston Texans now matching up here with this undefeated Kansas City Chiefs team on Sunday night at home. I'm still not buying, though, the fact that they deserve to be a home underdog in this game, to be honest with you. But that's a discussion for another time. But I think this Houston team, with Deshaun Watson already showing you, hey, Tom Savage, stay on that bench. You're going to be there for a long time to come.
And last but not least, big man, anything to add to what Ian or Donnie said?
Yeah, two things. I like that the Steelers' offense looked better. I know they're having some issues right now on the sidelines with Antonio Brown, but he'll get over it. He's a professional. He'll be fine. But nice to see Le'Veon Bell get going. They go on the road and get the job done. But I'm going to shout out to our friend Gabriel Moratzine, his Buffalo Bills. Was I critical of the win last week? Yeah, I mean, they got a little lucky, but overall they won the football game, and that's all that matters in the NFL. It doesn't matter how you win, it's if you won or not, and they were able to go on the road and beat a very good offense. They held that offense down. They made plays when they needed to, and all of a sudden, with the Patriots looking a little poor on defense and some question marks, now I'm starting to ask BS questions. Hey, do you think Buffalo can win the AFC East? They're putting the thought in people's heads. Will they do it? Probably not, but they're making a go at it. They've looked great on defense. I couldn't believe it, Drew. I have to Denver Broncos are on a bye this week, so I had to pick up a defense in fantasy, and Buffalo was still hanging out there. What a grab! Great defense. They've played well, and they shut down Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons. Impressive stuff. Buffalo is looking good. Shout out to Bills fans.
Totally agree with Jeff about the Bills. I mean, in terms of how impressed we've been with their defense, especially. I mean, how bad was the defense for Buffalo under Rex Ryan? It was funny. Jim Schwartz was there. They had a great defense. Rex Ryan comes in. They have an awful defense. They take bad penalties, holding penalties. They're offside all the time. Just stupid shit that they were doing on the defensive side of the ball all the time with Rex Ryan. And Sean McDermott in just a few weeks has cleaned that up already. He's got a secondary where he's found some players. Gaines has been good. This Poirier kid has played really well for them. Of course, they've got a good pass rush led by Jerry Hughes up front. It's a very impressive Bills defense. I'm impressed with the 3-1 start. I'm certainly higher on them than I was. I'm just a little cautious. Still, just slightly, is this another one of those classic Buffalo Bills teases? Early season start that surprises people. I remember J.P. Lostman, or as I called him, J.P. Lostman, about 10 years ago, got off to a 3-0, 3-1 start. And guess what? After that, he was the Bills basically fell off a cliff and had another bad season. Trent Edwards and the Bills years ago. Remember Trent Edwards, quarterback?
They sure have had a lot of bad quarterbacks over the years.
Tulane Green Wave, man, reaching back, sure.
I forgot about those guys. JP Losman.
I know everyone was raving. Here's the next big quarterback in the NFL, Trent Edwards, 5-1 Buffalo Bills. Well, that's about as good as it ever got for Trent Edwards. It was just a disaster for him from that point onward. Bounced from team to team and then out of the NFL basically 2 years after that. So the Buffalo Bills, nice start, but we've seen this tease and this little act before. Let's see if it's sustainable.
Sure.
So bringing up JP Losman, the Tulane, those days back in
Rob Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to move that offense pretty good. Couldn't do anything in the NFL. But, Ian, you brought up Tennessee. Also, we have Big Man bringing up the Patriots defense. What do we think about, the Titans? And Big Man, do you think that the Patriots defensively can turn this around?
No, I don't. How? I mean, you have who you have. I mean, unfortunately, it's not like in this league you can just go and flip a coin and say, well, we'll get them back next week. They're just not very good defensively, and it's they made some moves to get rid of people that they maybe shouldn't have. I was a little, I think. Almost perplexed at how bad they are. I thought they'd be a lot better this year. But you look at some of the positions. I mean, some of the guys that are playing, I'm not sure that they belong at this level. And your boy Rob Patricia, who I know Donnie loves, or Matt Patricia, not Rob Patricia, Matt Patricia, that rocket scientist, really smart guy that just tries to outsmart everyone. No, I don't think they can turn it. I don't mean to kind of mince words here. Donnie, how would they turn it around? What are they going to go out and get, all new players? You can't turn this around.
Yeah, it was like a miracle last year. I mean, they sort of had like a scrap heap front seven just trying to get after the quarterback. And when you really lose, come on, they lost Rob Ninkovich. And that collapses the entire defense. The interesting thing there is you go out and get Gilmore, a high-priced cornerback who you figure would just be a plug-and-play type guy. But on the other side, you could say, hey, well, you just paid a quarterback. We saw it in Philadelphia. Byron Maxwell comes from Seattle, comes over. Hey, man, I just got paid a boatload of money. I'm just out here freewheeling because it's all guaranteed, at least for the next 2 years. If you cut me, hey, I'll take my, $20, $30, $40 million home with me. And then on the other side, you have Butler, who's a very good cornerback, but he was in the precarious position where he wants a new contract. He wanted out of town. He thought he was traded. Now he's back in New England. Almost one of those things where you had these hired assassins sort of playing for themselves because on paper, that secondary should be pretty good, and they're getting lit up.
I mean, Drew, this team is giving up 5.1 yards a carry, and they're giving up 324 passing yards a game. That's last by like 13 yards a game. I mean, they're getting drilled defensively. I mean, they haven't even looked close to being good ever.
They are practically 30th or worse, Big Man, in every defensive statistical category. That's not supposed to be New England Patriots football. It's just not. But Stephon Gilmore is the one guy, Big Man and Donnie and Drew, that maybe Bill Belichick can't rescue this guy from Buffalo. Chris Hogan, he plucked from Buffalo, has been great. A bunch of guys, even Gillislee's produced a little bit and impacted this New England team positively. I'm not seeing that from Gilmore. I'm seeing him getting torched. I'm seeing him getting picked on a little bit. Maybe there's no helping out Stephon Gilmore, really disappointed and underachieved in Buffalo. And so far, it hasn't gotten any better for him here with New England. I've got concerns with them. And you know what pisses me off is that I said a couple weeks ago right here on this show, New England's overvalued. I'll be looking to bet against them. Have I bet against them since then? No. I haven't taken advantage of it. The dummy me has not taken advantage. The problem is they were playing Carolina, and I didn't trust Carolina's offense to do something against New England last week. And sure enough, they even torched that beleaguered defense. Yeah, the overs, of course, have cashed week in and week out. Even Carolina pulls an over with that New England team last week. That tells you how bad it is on the defensive side of the ball. And as for Thursday night, people looking at Bucks and over, how do you talk them out of that opinion? How do you look at yourself in the mirror and talk people out of taking Tampa or the over right now based on what you're seeing from that Patriots D right now?
And guys, what about the Oakland quarterback situation? Donnie, you had an interesting I don't know if you said it on air about the offensive line and yada yada in Oakland, if we should go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I mean, what are you guys, I guess, projecting going forward with the Oakland quarterback position?
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the game on Sunday, something is amiss with David Carr to start the season. I don't know if it's he got the big contract or going to, Las Vegas or, again, another guy that got paid. Now, he doesn't seem like the guy that's really worried about, I need to be the highest paid player. I just got paid. Now I'm going to take it easy. But something's a little bit amiss with that offense coming forward. Amari Cooper can't catch the football right now. I mean, it's just baffling. Crabtree misses the game last week, but I actually did like later in the game after Carr went out. There's a couple drives. I mean, he did throw an interception late, but it was more of a 50-50 ball. You're trying to rush downfield, and the cornerback made a nice play on that on the I forget who the wide receiver in that was, but I'm actually trying to build a case right now to take Oakland over the Baltimore Ravens. Not so much because I like Oakland and what they're going to present, but I think EJ Manuel can be a little bit more aggressive in the pocket, maybe make some plays with his feet against a pretty good defense. If you get Crabtree back in this game, I think that's going to lend very well, because I watched Baltimore the last 2 weeks. That is a lifeless, listless offense. So it's not like Oakland's going to have to go out here and put up 35 points in order to beat the Baltimore Ravens. If they can get somewhere in the high teens to low 20s, I think they win and cover this football game, with that line opening up around 2.5, depending on where you're getting it from. So right now, I'm in the film room right now trying to build a case. I think Oakland's the better football team here, and I don't think it's that big of a discrepancy right now between EJ Manuel and what David Carr was doing.
Totally agree. That's Oakland or pass for me. And EJ Manuel at least showed some ability late in that game against Denver. He made a nice couple throws on the road. Tough spot coming in off the bench for Carr. Maybe a week of practice is going to help him out. Baltimore, to me, you're right. It's just abysmal right now. I don't want any part of them. I didn't like them coming into the season. They sort of had a smoke and mirrors 2-0 start, took advantage of some things. Cincinnati having a terrible game that first week. I don't like Baltimore whatsoever. I think it's a backs against the wall, circle the wagon spot here for Oakland. Same thing with the Tennessee-Miami game. I could only look Titans there, whether it's Castle or Mariota at quarterback. Doesn't matter to me. They got to show up. They got to respond after that drubbing in Houston last week. I think Titans and Raiders situationally bounce back. What are you made of? Type of spots for both of these teams, and I'll be leaning to both of them this week.
Yeah, real quick on a Raiders point in that, and I want to point out a lot of the people, especially public, and again, it's not the fault of the novice gambler in this situation to say, man, I'm not taking Oakland. They just lost David Carr, their starting quarterback, their franchise quarterback. They lost a game in Denver. It was a close game, but go back a couple weeks when I said, just going on the road, the quarterback was losing my mind for Minnesota, not Rosenfels,
Keenum.
I'm sorry about that. Case Keenum comes there on the road, spot start, got no reps during the week. Watching the film, he didn't do that bad of a job against Pittsburgh. Now coming home in that same type of environment where they're going to insulate him. There's not much film work right now in EJ Manuel in this offense. They're going to put in some bootlegs, boot sweeps with him. And again, you're playing a team that's not going to be running up and down the field. So EJ Manuel's not going to have to throw the ball 35 to 40 times. I think it's a good spot this week alone, if we're looking at a week-to-week game, that you might want to back EJ Manuel going forward here. Just
one also quick point on Carr. You got to wonder, is this, and from what I've heard, this could be 2 weeks or 6 weeks, and that's not good when you're dealing with a back. Many of us know, and again, it's a small injury, but could it be a chronic back problem for this guy? I mean, who knows? I mean, when you get the type of injury he has, you get it from getting hit in a certain spot too hard, and backs are never good. I mean, any of us can say that. I mean, backs hurt a lot of people and bother a lot of people. When you have an injury prognosis of it could be 2 weeks or could be as long as 6 weeks, that's not good. I mean, it could be a chronic thing that David Carr might have to do it, or Derek Carr might have to deal with his whole career. Donnie and I we always say David Carr. I always say David.
They're the same guy to me. Yeah, they look the same. They could be twins.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Sure. But we'll see. If it's chronic, that's concerning, surely.
And there's no shame in Donnie saying Sage Rosenfels. It's one of those random mediocre generic.
That's what comes to mind. The same, like if you go to Central Casting and just pick out that white quarterback who's not very good, they're all the same guy. Yes.
Yeah. You can just mix and match and you get the same person. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Hey, if you're a 6'4" white guy and you have a decent college QB rating, you got a shot in the NFL.
Luke Falk, baby. Luke Falk.
Well, he'll be pretty damn good in the NFL.
No, I know. He just fits that mold you're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, guys, let's get into 465, 466. We got the Carolina Panthers versus the Detroit Lions. 2 3-1 teams. Looks like 44 is the total. -2, -2.5 across the board. Want to shop around using SBR odds right now. Looks like 5 dimes at 2, 2.5, just bet and bet Chris. So shop around on this one. But guys, let's get an opinion on this. We got 2 big name quarterbacks going at it, 2 good teams. Big man, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'm not going to bet against Detroit at home. It seems like good things happen at home. They're never out of a football game at home, it seems like. And I like what I've seen from this team. They're not too sexy. I mean, they don't have a huge name anymore at receiver, or, they don't have a high-level run game or anything, but they do some good things on defense. People are stepping up, and Matt Stafford is a guy that I seemingly all of a sudden want to back. He's always going to keep them in a game this year. Carolina, I don't have much opinion on. was I impressed with what they did on the road at New England? Sure. I mean, but they did give up a lot of points. The defense is still a problem to me on the back end. Matt Stafford may exploit that. At home, I'm just not really looking to bet against Detroit. This looks like a pretty good number. Until Detroit shows that they don't come to playing games like this, I'm not going to fade them. And just a random little stat, last 4 games in a dome, Carolina's 0-4 against the spread. Very odd, interesting number. I'm going to go with Detroit. I like the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the game, Carolina coming in, big win last week, maybe unexpected, maybe to everybody outside the building in Carolina, but you're wondering each week what you're getting out of Cam Newton. He was much more aggressive in that game, and hey, Font just had a good game as a wide receiver. They were able to move the football, put a little bit of pressure on Tom Brady, pulled out a nice victory. Moving forward here, I think I'm going to echo Jeff's sentiment here. Past couple years, Detroit at home, when they're either an underdog or 1-2, or it looks like still the prevailing number right now is under 3. You're just asking for Matt Stafford to win the football game, which he tends to do in the fourth quarter. If you're going head to head in this one and it's 24-24 in the fourth quarter, Detroit's at home with Stafford at the helm, I'm going to lean on taking Detroit here. I probably won't be anywhere near this football game betting wise because I like the way it shapes up. I think both of these teams are pretty evenly matched heading in here. But if you're betting this football game, give me Matt Stafford just to pull out the W here at home.
And Drew, real quick, before we get to Ian's point, over the last 20 games where the line's +3 to -3, they're 12-8. So they're on the plus side of those games. Most teams aren't. You got to feel good about that when you're backing them as a small favorite or underdog.
Yeah, in general with Detroit, very similar type of team to me with the Chargers in that I'd rather take the underdog and take points in their games because they play so many close games. The Lions play so many close games. The Chargers play so many close games. But you're still getting a number of less than 3 here with Detroit. I'd lean in that direction as well, as long as you can get less than the field goal in this football game, because I just don't know if Carolina's offense last week was just taking advantage of a piss-poor, struggling, reeling stop unit that New England has, or a real sign of a turnaround. This is going to determine that a little bit more. Did Cam Newton and that Carolina Panthers team pick apart a woeful New England defense, or is that truly a sign that their offense is improving? This is going to be that measuring stick. This is going to be that benchmark. The one concern I'd have here with Detroit is I know Amir Abdullah's done a better job running the football a little bit the last couple of weeks, but could arguably be one of the better defensive front sevens that Detroit has faced this season. If they're one-dimensional and Carolina's pass rush can get there, it could be some problems for Matt Stafford. But if he gets time to throw the football, you can make some plays against that Carolina secondary. So that matchup, can that Carolina front seven impose their will in this game? I think it's going to go a long way to whether Carolina wins and covers or Detroit does.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I like that breakdown, man. Guys, anything else in the NFL you want to get out there before we move on to college football?
No, I think I'm like Donnie anchoring the same Eagles sentiment right now. Like the fact that they're running the football. Looking forward to week 5 here.
I'll have the Eagles in.
Yeah, the only sad thing, I guess, for
fantasy
players and for full card NFL guys, the bye weeks do kick in this week, so it is a more limited slate here, missing out on maybe 2-3 games a week. Always, more football the better for me on the NFL. So that's the only thing I'm, not too impressed with. But again, it looks like there is no London game this week, so should have a good slate.
I like those London games and the Mexico City. Anything like that, I think, adds an interesting dynamic.
No, they're not.
I'm in the minority, though.
Sorry, I don't miss the London games.
Yeah, they're horrible.
No, not interested.
Terrible idea.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.